Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. A lot of prominent politicians are beginning to speak up over the breakages that may likely go on in Nigeria. And don't forget that we have agitators like Dududuwa Republic, Biafra, even the middle boys are actually joining their voice. Was strong men, prominent men are beginning to speak up, and they seem now to begin to align, judging the fact that there's so many insecurity that has bedeviled the country, and they're watching. Could there possibly a one Nigeria? Would there be a way out? Is there a hope? Is there a hope in the tunnel? Or should we just be hoping and having wishful thinking? But in a moment, we're going to find out what some of these prominent men has got to say and the reasons why they're anchoring their opinion. Before we do so, we'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. All right, let's go straight into the news of the day. Well, according to Professor Wole Soyinka, the Nobel laureate has said that Nigeria can't remain together unless the government is decentralized immediately. Soyinka disclosed that there was no need of Nigeria continuing together as one nation since the federal government fails to do the needful. Speaking during an interview with Arise TV, Soyinka said he doesn't think Nigeria can continue as one. He said, not if it continues this way, not if it fails to decentralize. Some people use the word restructure, some people use the word whatever. Not if it fails to decentralize. If Nigeria fails to decentralize, and I mean decentralize as fast as possible, manifestly, not rhetorics actually, then Nigeria cannot stay together. Again, this is not Wole Soyinka saying this, generals have said this. Everything has Everybody has said, ex heads of state have said it, analysts have said it, economists have said it, and that's what is happening to the people on the street. That's why they are moving, that's why they are demonstrating, that's why they are defying even threats from the police, from the government. If you demonstrate, you're a traitor. We will deal with you. We will speak to you in language which you will understand. You now understand. But other prominent people have decided to also air their views. Former Senate President Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki has noted that Nigeria will remain a work in progress because it was two countries joined together by the British for administrative purposes. Saraki said this while responding to questions on Nigeria's progress since the independence on October 1st, 1960. During an Independence Day lunch with diverse Nigerian youth held in Abuja at the weekend, he said that Nigeria should not be compared with some other countries that do not have diversity from day one in terms of its progress. The former Senate president pointed out that the country's major problem was in the areas of leadership and values, blaming citizenry for this. I read a book on how Nigeria was formed, and I realized that we were never one country. We were two countries, but it was efficient for the British to bring the two countries together for administrative purposes, Saraki said. It made sense at that time to bring two countries together for commercial purpose. From day one, Nigeria is going to be a work in progress because it's a country with so much diversity. So we can't compare ourselves with some other countries that don't have diversity from time. Even with these challenges that we have, despite those diversities, I think we're a society that is very, very patient. I think most countries, based on what people are going through now, will not be able to take it. We are ready to give people opportunities. We are fresh and take a lot. And I think that we haven't been able to get what we have never been able to get is actually right leadership and values. And about values, all of us must take the blame on that. For example, someone just pops up on our neighborhood overnight and shows wealth, and we just accept that person into our society, just like that. A society that continues to allow that, where is the values for hard work? Where is the value for doing things right? What message are we sending? The message that we must cut corners? As a country, we need to redefine that. Well, God bless you, sir. The truth of the matter is, you have just hit the nail on the head, and you're also saying that apart from Nigeria being two countries in one, Okay, I think it's actually more than two countries. It's actually diverse countries put together in one. Apart from that, you're also saying indirectly that we have problem of corruption. Yes, corruption, where people will get wealth. You can imagine what is happening now. There's this trending news about Pandora's document, where so many of our politicians have been indicted. You know, these few days, these few years now, you know, EFCC seem to be catching those who seem to have asset, fixed asset. You know, there's this general saying that when the bird now flies without perching, the hunters have said to learn to shoot without missing. Which means by the time our old politicians, those old guns, have learned that each time they build fixed assets, you know, EFCC traces it to them. They brought in BVN and all that. They had to go through this digital currency to see how they can maneuver it. Right now, the latest one that is actually trending is this Pandora's document, where they say they do all shipping document, EC sure BC document, where the monies are actually laundered in a very nice, such that you see them, they are very normal in the sense that if you trace them to their homes or to their properties, they seem to have normal properties that beget their title and their influence in the society. But where they have stashed the wealth, the stinking wealth of the common Nigerian, and that's why Nigeria is so rich yet so very poor. You know, few Nigerians can actually finance Nigeria. We are so indebted, but our politicians are so rich that we don't even need to borrow from IMF, just borrow from them. Since one way or the other they've been able to do this. And you know, EFCC is so, they try to do their work, all these financial commissions, you know, anti-corruption commission, they try to, you know, link it. They can't link it anymore because these ones they've gone digital. They are very heavy in this matter. Now with all this Pandora stuff going, you now see that the high level of corruption that is going on, where right now even in the common man, try going to go try buying PMS, petrol in filling station, and remove your eyes from the pump attendant and see how he or she is going to rip you off of your money. So you now see that this whole thing is now a system error. Everybody is gaining something one way or the other from it, and it's a serious issue. Now you now understand why we are saying what we are saying. The truth of the matter is, Nigeria, though you are calling it work in progress, how many years will it take for us to undo the corruption level, for us to begin to make the system work the way it ought to, like every other country? To even break it, are you sure we're not going to carry the symptoms of Nigeria to the various new countries we're talking about here? And while he's talking about it, with all due respect, a lot of politicians are guilty of that thing he just mentioned. You know, you keep hearing things. So many things are going on in Nigeria. Nobody raises eyebrow. There's hunger in the land. That's why most times people don't even ask questions. Those days, there's dignity in labor. Right now, people give. You can imagine those days. You can pick any title you like, just flash some words. Although that's the level of corruption we have gotten into. Let's go wrap it up. Let's move to that.